Good job.
All right, cool. Well, guys, again, thank you so much. We are here live at Brookdale. We're so excited because this is Father's Day, and Father's Day is such an important time of the year. You know, it's an opportunity to just give thanks and recognition to our fathers, but then it's also time for us to, as fathers, to just show what type of person we are and what drives us and motivates us. So if you guys aren't sure, and we're talking to you on Facebook Live, that we're streaming live from Brookdale, and we'll give you a little view of everybody and say hi. But and if you're a first-time guest, guys, this is our platform focuses on social issues within the digital space, but we use the lens of Christ. We use the Bible as our platform. And, our goal is just to develop more effective ways in social media, through devices of Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and all the rest, just to engage deeper, Yeah, so today we're talking about social parenting, right, guys? And I have Cameron with me, and I have Braden with me. And this is a good time for us to get together and have a conversation, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Cool, all right. So, Cameron, you can sit up for it.
Which one?
You know not more than the other. I've been talking all the time.
You're fine.
All right, fine. Now more than ever, we just need to develop better ways of engagement, both in the physical space here, but then also in the social media space, right?
Yeah, of course. You got it.
No, I'm not. You just...
Where?
Right here where it says Sophie. That's right. All right, anyway. Guys, so we just want to engage deeper. So we need to create a more mindful approach in social media, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get this guys started, and I'm happy to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Cameron's acting really shy. Normally she's outside the box.
I just didn't want to.
All right,
Just jump in and take over,
No,
Cameron.
okay.
All right, well, anyway. So today we're talking about social parenting, and even at the best of times, there's nothing easy about raising children. I mean, it's a challenge all across the from every age. It's difficult, but throw in a million social technologies, social devices, and apps, and it gets so much more difficult. And it's a challenging for the young parent or the adult, the older adult parent. I mean, from across the board. Most of you guys know that I have two awesome kids. I've already introduced you to them, Braden over here and Cameron over here, and they work and live in social media. I mean, they're on their social devices all the time. And it's kind of cool because I get to learn about all these social devices. I learn how to use social media just to engage deeper because I watch them and I have to communicate with them, through it. So really, the question begins, and this is really the question we're going to begin today's little broadcast and sermon is, how do we operate as a parent in a social technology-driven society? How do we operate that? Well, we can begin by, I'll go ahead and kick this off. We need to begin by embracing technology and embracing education because it begins with educating ourselves in everything. And this involves not outside of social media as well. But anything that's new that comes into our space, we have to embrace it through being educated by it, right?
Exactly, and get to know what exactly is going on with each other's technologies and figure out what the apps actually are instead of trying to just guess and assume things and jump to conclusions.
Absolutely, that's a good point.
There's a bunch of age gaps. There's less knowledge in your generation to figure out what's going on in our generation, so you can we can give you a better understanding of what's happening.
That's a good point. That's right. So it's leveraging their time and their knowledge. And so really that's the breakdown of social media because it eliminates our time, the valuable time right here. So, there's always, so whenever a new technology appears, we see this consistent pattern where parents tend to kind of reject it because they just don't have the time to educate themselves. And then young adults and children, they want to embrace it because they have all the time in the world. So they're just embracing it, and then parents just don't have the time to commit to it, so they tend to just reject it. Sometimes parents are perfectly happy with the technologies that they know, while adults and young adults, they're excited about what's happening, what's new, and so we see this trend where younger generations just press forward, and older generations usually just kind of remain stagnant and they stay in one place. And that's where those education and those relationship gaps begin to go further and further apart, because one generation stays and the other generation is moving forward.
So it's kind of like the younger generation is trying to take a leap forward, and then the older generation is trying to take a step forward,
That's
step
right.
backwards actually.
That's right, and so you begin to lose a sense of value because of what society is producing. And the value usually is right here, it's next to you. It's the relationships that begin to go farther apart because one, the parents of that generation is either not, committing to adapting and learning about these devices and being educated, and if they're doing so, then they lose they lose authenticity, but they also lose time, and they lose, and it just a distance starts to kind of grow, and then they start losing the value in the relationships with their children, and inadvertently the children see that that's happening, and they really begin to feel rejected because that value is not placed in their spaces.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. They can just because they feel probably intimidated about the social apps and what's going on, and so they're kind of like blindly leave their children to the social channels without understanding fully what's going on.
Oh, that's a good point. That's right. So because they don't commit to learning about the technology, they may feel intimidated. Well, then they allow social technologies just to remain completely in the hands of the younger adults and the children.
Exactly, which can bring pretty much sort of risk that comes to it.
That's right. So these children, they bear all the risk because all this technology is new in their hands, and the parents aren't taking the effort to educate themselves on what these apps and applications are for and how to use them. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Today we see an environment, we see a new social environment, and we really do need to do the homework and learning on how to use these devices, instead of just choosing fear of technology, but we need to choose familiarity. I can never say that word, and just look for ways of embracing social technology to, one, create deeper ways of engagement, and also to lead by it, to create an atmosphere of what you value. We use social media to show what we value, and what we value is the Bible. We value Christianity, and we don't have to campaign. We don't have to campaign just on that. We can campaign on the values like ethical character and moral compass, and just being a right ambassador and the right type of responsible, respectful individual. It's those different characters that really model what Christianity is all about, but also those type of characters that can help, close that gap and create a deeper form of engagement as it relates to social media.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's one thing. So another thing, a topic I want to discuss with you guys about, and if you guys are just now tuning in, you can definitely hit share and share this broadcast out. We're streaming live here at Brookdale, and it's very exciting. And we'll give you a sneak peek. And in fact, here, I'll just pop this camera around, if I can even do it. Oh, there we go. And so here's our little audience right here, and they're just saying hi. I have my parents. Hold on one second. There we go. I have my parents over here. Say hi. Hello. You guys can say hi over here. Say hello. Well, anyway, that's the audience that you guys are viewing, that we're viewing actually. So we're back. Anyway, so
social focus.
Let's talk about social focus, and this is a really great one. Social focus. There's no great secret that social media and digital space, the world, brings new ways of distraction. Social media can be very distracting, right? Technology can be very distracting. And that's the last thing we want, because distraction leads us away from Christ. It leads us away from our self-identity. and leads us away from each other. You know, if you have a phone, you're constantly, getting push notifications about something that's coming up, some new breaking news or fake news or whatever it is, right? It could be anything. And, technology seems to just evolve from, different forms of distraction. And, over time, our fear is over time, we have been trained to obey our social devices. We're not really the key holders anymore. They are controlling us. And as we respond to our social phones, every time something appears, then those phones are truly owning us rather than we're owning them.
Exactly. It kind of you lose connection with the people around you. So instead of, talking face to face like we're all doing here, we're stuck on our phones just looking down. And like in the previous broadcast, we're kind of competing with the phone.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Because the phone, the notifications distract us from actually seeing the real connections, like me, you, Cameron, everyone, just leads us away from
Absolutely. If you look around this room, each person next to you is so valuable because they're taking the time to sit with you and to, visit with us, which is amazing. But those are the relationships that we can't allow distractions, be a divider line, push us away and separate us from, So, that's so important, So here's kind of a couple questions. Are we becoming people who love being distracted? That's a good question because sometimes, in social media, with so many children on it and young adults and even older adults, we can allow all of these notifications and these news events and all these things to cloud our mind in such a way that we don't have to deal with the reality that is next to me.
Yeah, Britton said earlier, I remember you said earlier that the phone kind of distracts us from family discussions,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know what you gonna touch up on that because I'm not sure exactly what you said.
Yeah, exactly. Because with all these distractions, we can't we don't want to spend time with our family or anyone else because we're always on our phone and we're always competing with time. So every time we're on our phone, you're anything can happen.
Just loses valuable time.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's right.
Why are you always on the phone?
I know.
We need. Every time I see a teenager, they've got their hand.
I know. So that's a good point. We are always on our phones, and we're allowing our phones just to be the single most important thing, and we can't allow that. We have to really see who's beside us, and let those be the value system that we kind of looked for in our lives. And we can't depend. So, one other thing is, do we depend on these distractions to avoid deep social discussions? A lot of us do. A lot of us, in social media or just in life, it's hard to go deep with people. We think because we're being vulnerable and we're being transparent. If one of us, something's wrong with us, maybe we have a medical, we had a medical record that doesn't reflect the good news. We're like, oh gosh, if I share that and talk about that, then that really makes it real. So we'll hold it and keep it inside ourselves so that we don't discuss it because we don't want to believe it's true. And that's really counterproductive. It could be anything in life, but it's counterproductive because, it's when we do take those opportunities to share, then we're actually allowing that, we're allowing in others who are around us who are valuable to kind of carry the load a little bit, to carry the weight, to carry the burden. And a lot of us have so much burdens inside of us that we're allowing distractions to keep those doors closed and for us to hold on to those burdens. And we don't realize it, We just think that we're doing ourselves a favor by not sharing it because we're not allowing it to be a reality, which in fact it is a reality. So
And even sometimes, I was thinking about that as you're talking about emotion, kind of social media and phones kind of take away emotion in a way because you're just kind of typing on a screen rather than if you're talking to somebody, you can hear the emotion in someone's voice and what they're saying and how they feel and their body language. But on the phone, you're just kind of blatantly just typing on a screen whatever. It's kind of doesn't really mean much.
No emotions at all.
Yeah.
When you take pictures, like from my last broadcast, when you take pictures, it kind of loses the value because you would rather have a memory.
That's a good point.
Instead of having that, because you'll kind of forget about it because you can just go back and like look at it. So like it doesn't seem like as valuable as it was like when you first met the person.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So like if you're always on your phone and you're just taking a picture and posting it, and taking a picture and posting it, taking a picture and posting it, but you're really losing the moment because you're not enjoying the moment. You're not just putting the phone down, or maybe you're taking a picture and posting it and just like leaving the phone and just enjoying the moment. You know, that's what Braden's speaking about, how we have to be very careful. You know, social media isn't bad, or just anything like that. It's not bad. Technology isn't bad, but when we allow it to be the form of control in our environment, then we're really, it's counterproductive. We're losing the value of the moment. Like right now, it's so valuable to all of us because we're here together. This is live in live space, you know, and this is super. So one other thing I want to mention is, you know, as Christians, it's a responsibility to us to grow in wisdom. And wisdom is by education, by learning, and by learning about our environment. You know, back in when Jesus walked the land, you know, there was very little technology. There was technology, but not as it relates to today. So it's our job to learn about everything that's out there so that we can leverage it for Christianity and for the glory of God. You know, wisdom comes through focused listening. I mean, we've seen that, you know, to be slow to speak and be quick to listen. You know, and as through applying those truths of Scripture to our lives, we can only do this when we break away from. We can only do this when we break away from the distractions, and focus on whom and what is around us. You know, and so that's really about embracing social focus. It's so important that we don't allow distractions to keep us in a stagnant space. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's talk about one other thing. Let's talk about social visibility. So being transparent, that's another really important thing. You know, I'll tell you, do you want to, so let's see, so social visibility, do you want to know who you really, oh yeah, do you want people to know, you know, who you are, the real authentic person, or the person that you're trying to portray to be? That's right. It's about, you know, being the same person you are in real life here as you are in the life on social media and things like that.
Yeah,
you know, you want people to take notice for, you know, what you've done and what you've contributed in life long after you've left. And do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say most people kind of trying to, like, I don't know, well, we say hype themselves up, but like try to make themselves look better on social media.
Promote themselves.
Yeah, promote themselves on social media just to like look to everyone else that they're kind of better and that they're really good and that they're living this awesome life. But in reality, it's like might be something different. And so people get really, you know, I don't know, they kind of degrade themselves when they look. Yeah, exactly. When they look on other people's accounts because they notice that, wow, they have this amazing life. Why don't I have that kind of life? Mm-hmm. And so it just really kind of degrades some people's, you know, let's say the way.
Identity.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, like a long time ago, there was a study about how if people keep just like looking at different accounts and like seeing like all the highlights of their lives, of the people's lives, it'll make them feel less. It'll start making them feel like kind of depressed and like making them want to feel like. Yeah, it's making them feel depressed. Like
that's a really good point. So Brain makes a really, really, really positive point. And if you guys are just now tuning in, click share and share this broadcast out because we appreciate that. So we're streaming live here in Brookdale Senior Living Community, and we'll give you a little panoramic view and say hi in a moment. So Cameron and Braden, they're talking about social visibility. One thing Braden mentioned just now is that, you know, what are we doing when we're by ourselves? And who are we comparing our lives to? You know, are we comparing our lives to the person next to us and looking maybe how healthy they are or what they have, and that's our value system? Because if that is, then we're basing our identity on the wrong factors, on not who God has created us to be whatsoever. And yes,
I have a point.
yeah.
Everyone in this room knows who they are and what they're capable of.
Yes.
I have grandchildren older than you. I have done all of this.
Yeah.
And thank God they all turned out good.
But
everyone here has children older than you are.
That's true.
So we don't have to experience what you do with your children. And
That's
other
true.
People, I have grandchildren that you should be talking to. Not
Yeah. Well, that's a good point. So, each one of us are uniquely made, and we all have our own identity. And we all, are on the, if we allow Christ to be the center of our lives, then we are all on that same path. In fact, you make a really valid point. Young or old, Christ is the wisdom. Jesus Christ, God, He is the foundation of wisdom. And if we leverage the Bible, there are many children, younger adults than me, that are far more intelligent than I am as it relates to Christianity, because they have allowed themselves to be led and maybe follow leaders. They had, I would even say like Billy Graham. And his Franklin Graham and their children. It's like a lineage thing, right? Almost in that form. So, there's many adults even that come to know Christ at an older age, where there's younger children that have come to know Christ at a very earlier age, and they're a little further ahead. So, the one thing about Christianity is it's non-generational, period. It's non-generational. You could be, and it's non-biased, and it's what's not racial, ethnicity, or it covers every ethnicity. You could be any age, in any space in life, and you can leverage that word to grow. But it's all based on how much you're valuing it. Just like we spoke earlier, the value system. How much you're valuing your word in Christianity. You know what I mean? Like, I value these kids next to me so much, and I'm putting so much time into them. And I value you guys so much, It's why I'm spending time with you guys. So it's really about value, And that's what social visibility is all about. It's about finding those value systems.
Exactly, and where you put your focus and time at.
That's right, where you put your focus and time at. That's a good point. That's a great point. Too many people live in the dark spaces in life.
It's kind of like,
it could be,
It's kind of like what Karen said, like, you have to put your dedication towards what's happening in your life, instead of leading your life with distraction.
That's right. That's like we spoke about earlier. Too many people allow themselves to live in the dark, quiet corners in life. It could be an office corner. It could be a corner in, a hospital. It could be a corner in your home. It could be a corner in social media. It could be a corner anywhere. But God doesn't want us to live in the corners of life, in the dark spaces in life. They don't open up their lives to people next to them, and to realize the value system, and to realize the people that are next to them are specifically put in their life for a reason. Each one of us, it's not random that I'm here. I'm here for a reason. I don't know why I'm here at Brookdale Senior Living Community, but there's a reason for it. I probably won't know that reason until she's 40 years old and she maybe owns a chain of senior living communities, and they're all Bible-based.
Stay in your room.
You know what I mean? We don't know, but we do know that we have to leverage every moment and every opportunity, because if we're allowing ourselves to not live in the dark spaces in life.
Exactly. Like, would you rather sit in front of a TV screen all day and just sit there without communicating people around you? Like, I don't know if I were anyone, I would rather, go to talk to the person next to you and learn about their life and what they've been through, instead of, I think that's more educational, more beneficial than watching a TV screen that just repeats the same things over and over and over
again. A great point. That's a great point. It's real engagement. And that was Jesus' whole purpose. When he was walking on earth, he went from town to town, from space to space. And it wasn't about, he didn't just post a bulletin. I'm going to be in this church on this day at this time. If you want to, come meet me. No, he walked the path. He walked everywhere. He was in communion because he needed people to see that every person, young, old, poor, rich, a person that was on a deathbed of leprosy or a person that was like in perfect health, everybody is of equal value. And that's what Cameron just said. Exactly the same thing. And that's what we're talking about. We have to be visible. We have to be visible to others, and we have to be visible to ourselves and what we want out of life and how we want those around us, how we want to impact those around us. So the last thing we're going to talk about real quick, and kind of Cameron just mentioned it a moment ago, was, our time. Where do we put our time? Social time, physical time. Where do we put our time? Children, young or old, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants our time. And if we are not offered time in return, we feel rejected. If you call somebody, if you walk across the hall, knock on someone's door, and they don't answer, and you know that they're there, we feel rejected. If we pick up a phone call and our parent or our children doesn't take the call, we feel rejected. If we're on social media and we post something to somebody and they don't respond to it, we feel rejected. The rejection of time, it comes in many forms. It's loneliness, it's emptiness, and that's one thing that we have to be very careful about, because you know what time is? Time is authority. Time is authority. God's currency, God's only currency, let's just talk about this for a second. God didn't invent the dollar bill. He didn't invent that. We created that. That's our human man-made currency. God doesn't want our money. He doesn't want our riches. What does he want most of all? Our time. Yeah, that's his currency. That's his only currency is time. If we don't give him our time, then he feels rejected. It's the same thing with us. Social time, physical time, that is the only currency that matters, and everybody wants it. And that's what we have to think about. When we offer our time or our attention to blank, then we're actually giving authority to that attention, that blank, whatever it is. And that's what we have to be very careful about, because whatever that blank is, if that's something that, maybe it's a TV show or whatever, we're giving, and it's not giving that same amount of time back, then our fulfillment tank is going to be on empty. It's not going to fill up. The more time this kid spends with me, that tank, that gas tank of life, it's filling up. But the less time he spends with me, it's going to go down. Same with you, and same with her, and same with everybody else in our space. So we have to be very careful on where we put our time, because if wherever we put that time doesn't put it back, our tank is going to be empty, and we're going to live in a state of emptiness, and then we're going to find ourselves in the dark corners, of our rooms or our lives, because we're going to feel rejected, right? Yeah. Anything you might add on that?
No, I think you said it pretty well.
Okay, so we just have to think about whenever we offer, that we have to stop chasing the acceptance of things that don't offer time in return. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's something very important for each of us. Hebrews, I will say this, Hebrews 4:11 says this, that to labor in rest is to labor in belief. Whenever the path of contentment is a path of belief, and the corresponding action of belief is rest. When we rest in God's belief and knowing that He is loving us, He is there for us every moment of every day, then we don't have to chase anything else. We can just labor in believing that He's there for us, and then we know that we are accepted. Like right now, I know that Braden believes in me and Cameron believes in me, because they wouldn't be here with me, shooting live. And if you guys are just now tuning in, click share and share this broadcast out, because we appreciate that. If I didn't believe in each one of you, I wouldn't be here today. I could definitely be in someplace else. I could be on the boat, like in the lake. That'd be awesome, right? But I don't want to be there. I want to be sitting across from each one of you, and from you guys, because I believe in all of you guys, because you have a special place in my life and a place in my heart. And, so that's one thing that that's important for each of us to carry through life is, just don't put your time or your focus and your energy in spaces that don't value you as much as you value it. It has to be an equal, it has to be, we have to balance the equation. We have to balance the equation. And that's what God is teaching us every day. Balance the equation. How much time are you going to put into me? Because I'm putting everything into you. Because you're still here on this earth. I haven't taken you yet, So balance the equation. If there's one kind of thing that I can just lay on everybody as a father and as each one of you, balance the equation at every level of your life. Cool? Are you guys good?
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, guys, let me just pray us out today, okay? Because I know we all have our things to do. All right, here we go. Heavenly Father, thank you so much, God, for the opportunity for us to just minister to everybody around us and to just to allow us to preach your word and to see the value systems that you have given us. Lord, we pray, Lord, that we will always balance the equations in every space, in work, in play, in our family, in our friends, in our marriages, in our relationships, and especially with ourselves, in the way that we value ourselves. Lord, we pray that we thank you for always giving us the strength and the authority over our lives. And we also pray, Lord, that on Father's Day, that every person that's watching today, that they feel valued and they feel your presence in their space. In your name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys. Well, hey, hold on one second. I want everybody to say hello real quick. There we go. Everyone say hi. Because this is my... Say hello. This is my awesome Brookdale family, and they're so special to us. So, before we go end it, Kevin and Braden and I are going to say a little final piece, and we'll cut this thing off, all right? Okay, Cameron's really shy, but it's all right. So, guys, this is how we're going to end our little session today. All right? So, from our space to yours, have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time, okay? Bob Meets Live. All right, see you guys.